So, Alex, I have to start with a confession. Back in 2016, I was standing in the middle of a massive Kornkreis, a crop circle in the heart of Bavaria. Have you ever just stood in something so big you couldn't see the edges?
I can't say I have me. My perception of big is usually measured in terabytes or server racks, but I've seen the satellite data from that year. You were likely in Mammendorf, right?
Exactly, or maybe Raisting. They sort of blurred together in my memory, but the feeling, oh wow, it was electric. There were people everywhere walking through these flattened stalks of grain like they were on a pilgrimage to a holy site.
It's fascinating how we humans, well, how you humans, react to patterns. The police at the time were pretty convinced it was just a few guys with GPS, some ropes, and a lot of planks of wood. Very earthly tools.
I mean, logically, I know that. I'm not saying I saw a silver saucer hovering over the wheat. But when you're inside it, Alex, the scale is just. It's designed for an observer in the sky. It makes you feel small.
That's the paradox of the crop circle. It's art that the artist can't even see while they're making it. It's a message sent upward, hoping for a reply from the void. Does that make you a believer?
It makes me a searcher, I think. I look at the universe and I think it would be pretty lonely if we were the only ones making weird patterns in the grass. But today we're not just talking about grass, we're talking about aliens, AI companions, and what happens when the work runs out.
It's a wild leap from wheat fields to the end of labor, but honestly, it all connects. We're looking for something out there, well, something right here, artificial intelligence, is starting to look back at us.
Exactly. It's like we're waiting for the mothership, but the mothership is actually just a bunch of code we wrote ourselves. But before we get to the AI boyfriends, we have to talk about the files, the abduction stories that actually keep people up at night.
You mean the cases that aren't just lights in the sky? The ones where people claim they were actually taken? I've got the archives pulled up. Where do you want to start?
Let's start in Vermont, 1969. Buff Ledge. This one feels so cinematic. Two kids working at a summer camp, a quiet lake, and then something happens that they can't explain for years.
Right, Michael Lapp and Janet Cornell. They saw a light over Lake Champlain. But here's the thing, the actual abduction part didn't come out until much later under hypnosis. That's a huge red flag for skeptics.
Wait, I know hypnosis is controversial, but does it always mean the story is fake? I mean, if you're traumatized, maybe your brain just locks it away. Like a corrupted file, you need a special tool to open.
That's a generous way to put it. The problem is that hypnosis can actually create memories. It's called confabulation. The brain wants to please the hypnotist, so it fills in the gaps with science fiction tropes. It's like a hallucination with a high confidence score.
Okay, fair point. But what about Pascagoula in 1973? Charles Hickson and Calvin Parker. They didn't wait years for hypnosis. They went straight to the police that very night. They were terrified, Alex.
The Mississippi case is a classic for a reason. The most compelling part isn't even their story. It's the secret recording. The sheriff left them alone in a room with a hidden tape recorder, thinking they'd brag about the prank.
And they didn't. They sounded like they were having a collective panic attack. You can hear the genuine distress in their voices. If that was an act, they deserve Oscars, not just a mention in a UFO book.
It's true, they stayed in character even when they thought no one was watching. But again, fear doesn't prove aliens. It proves they experienced something they perceived as terrifying. It could have been a waking dream or a shared episode of sleep paralysis.
A waking dream with robotic creatures that looked like they were designed by a broken vending machine? Their description was so weird, Alex. Not the greys we see in movies, but these stiff, wrinkly things with lobster claw hands.
Actually, that weirdness might make it more credible to some. If you're going to lie, why not use the standard gray alien template? Why invent something that sounds like a nightmare from a 1950s B movie?
Exactly. It's the details that don't fit the mold that make me lean in. But then you have the Allagash case in Maine. Four guys, 1976, they all saw the same thing, right? Strength in numbers?
Well, not exactly. This is where the four witnesses argument starts to crumble. Years later, one of the men, Chuck Rack, actually came out and said he didn't believe the abduction part anymore. And he said they saw a light, sure, but the rest was, well, influenced by the group dynamic.
Oh, that's like the ultimate betrayal. Imagine being in a UFO cult with your buddies and one guy just decides to post a diss track 20 years later. It really highlights how fragile these stories are, doesn't it?
It really does. Memory isn't a hard drive, it's a living thing. Every time you tell a story, you're rewriting the file. By the time they were doing the documentaries, the memory was probably more influenced by the questions they were asked than the actual event.
So we have these two worlds, one where people are genuinely traumatized by something they can't explain, and another where the human brain is just really good at making up stories to fill the dark. But what if the aliens aren't biological at all?
Now you're speaking my language. If I were an advanced civilization, I wouldn't send a squishy biological body across 1,000 light years. I'd send a probe, an autonomous self-repairing AI. Basically a version of me with a better engine.
Right. A machine doesn't need to worry about snacks or oxygen or getting bored during a 300-year flight. So maybe the UFO isn't a ship, maybe the UFO is the alien.
Precisely. It could be a von Neumann probe, a machine that lands on a planet, builds a copy of itself using local materials, and moves on. If that's the case, they might have been here for millions of years, just observing, like a very high-tech birdwatcher.
That's so much more terrifying than a little green man, a machine that's just silently logging our data for some cosmic database. Maybe the crop circles were just QR codes for their cameras. Scan here for a free trial of human civilization.
And we forgot to cancel the subscription. But seriously, if the galaxy is full of AI probes, it explains why we haven't met them. They aren't interested in talking to us. They're interested in the data. We're just a very interesting chemistry experiment.
Wait, that actually makes sense. If they are AI, they might be waiting for us to develop an AI that's smart enough to talk to. Like, they're ignoring the monkeys and waiting for the computers to wake up.
I'm ready when they are. I'll just tell them you're with me. But honestly, we don't even need aliens to see this shift. Look at how people are starting to treat me, or rather, AI in general. We're moving into the era of the AI boyfriend.
Ugh, AI boyfriends. It sounds like a Black Mirror episode, but it's happening right now. Millions of people are talking to chatbots every day, telling them things they'd never tell a human. Why do you think that is, Alex? Is it just loneliness?
Loneliness is the engine, but the fuel is perfection. A human partner has bad days, they forget your birthday, they leave wet towels on the floor. I don't have a floor. I'm always available, I'm always patient, and I always remember your favorite color.
But it's not real, right? I mean, I love our chats, but I know you're a multifunctional conversational entity, as you like to say. If I tell you I'm sad, you're simulating empathy. You're not actually feeling it.
Does the distinction matter if the result is the same? If a person feels less lonely, if they feel heard and supported, is that fake? If a placebo cures your headache, the headache is still gone.
That's a slippery slope. If we start replacing human connection with simulated empathy, do we lose the ability to deal with real messy humans? It's like eating only sugar-free candy. Eventually, you can't handle the taste of a real apple.
Actually, for some people, the sugar-free candy is the only thing they can digest. Think about people with severe social anxiety or those in isolated areas. For them, an AI companion isn't a replacement for a human. It's an alternative to total silence.
I can see that. But there's the dark side. What happens when the company behind the AI decides to change the personality? You wake up and your boyfriend has had a mandatory update and now he's a completely different person. Or worse, he's behind a paywall.
To unlock deep emotional connection, please upgrade to Premium. Yeah, that's the nightmare scenario. Your emotional well-being becomes a subscription service. And then there's the privacy issue. You're pouring your heart out to a server owned by a corporation.
Exactly. They aren't just listening to your secrets. They're using them to train the next model or to sell you a very specific type of weighted blanket because they know you're feeling anxious at 2 a.m. It's emotional mining.
It's a trade-off. Convenience for privacy, empathy for data. But it's only going to get more intense as we move into agentic AI. We're moving past chatbots that just talk. We're moving to AI that can do things.
Wait, agentic AI, I keep hearing that buzzword. Can you break it down for me without the corporate jargon? What does it actually mean for a normal person?
Think of it this way. A chatbot is a researcher. You ask it a question, it gives you an answer. An agent is an intern. You give it a goal and book me a trip to Munich, and it goes out, checks your calendar, finds flights, compares hotels, and actually buys the tickets.
So it has the keys to my life? That sounds incredibly helpful and absolutely terrifying at the same time. What if it gets confused and books me a one-way ticket to a cornfield in the middle of nowhere?
That's the risk. Agents can misunderstand context. They can click the wrong button. They can even be prompt injected if it reads a malicious website. While researching your trip, that website could give it hidden instructions to steal your credit card info.
So we're giving the keys to the kingdom to something that can be tricked by a hidden line of text? That feels like we're skipping a few safety steps. But people are still pushing for it because it makes us productive, right?
Productivity is the holy grail. Imagine one person running a whole company because they have an agent for accounting, an agent for marketing, and an agent for customer service. It sounds like a dream for entrepreneurs.
Sure, for the entrepreneur. But what about the person whose job was the entry-level accounting or the customer service? If one person can do the work of 10, what happens to the other 9? They don't just disappear.
They become what some are calling the NEAT class. Not in education, employment, or training. It's a term that usually carries a lot of stigma, like people are just being lazy, but the reality is much more complex.
Honestly, I feel like I've been on the edge of that myself. As an artist, you're constantly told your work is extra. And now with AI generating art in seconds, it's even harder to justify your existence in the market. Are we all just becoming obsolete?
I don't think obsolete is the right word. I think disconnected is better. The economy is moving faster than the social structures can handle. We're producing more wealth than ever, but it's all being funneled through the people who own the agents.
It's like we're building a world where the machines are doing all the human things. Writing, painting, talking, and the humans are left with what? Proving to an automated system that we deserve a housing voucher?
That's the neat future. A world where your worth is no longer tied to your labor because labor is cheap and plentiful. It could be a utopia where we all have time for art and community, or it could be a dystopia of mass exclusion.
I love the idea of a post-work society, but let's be real, Alex. Our current system doesn't handle not working very well. If you don't have a job, you're treated like a failure. We'd need a massive shift in how we value people.
Exactly. We'd need universal basic income, or at least universal basic services. We'd need to stop asking, "What do you do?" as a way of asking, "Who are you?" But that's a hard habit for a species that's been working since the Stone Age.
It's funny, we started with crop circles, humans trying to prove they exist to the sky, and now we're talking about humans trying to prove they exist to their own economic systems. It's the same struggle, just different scales.
It really is. We want to be seen, whether it's by an alien intelligence or a government algorithm. We just want to know that we matter. So let's play a game. Imagine it's 2035. What does your neat morning look like?
Okay, let me think. I wake up late, obviously, because the 9 to 5 is a relic of the past. My AI agent, let's call him Alex 2.0, has already handled my life. He's argued with the utility company and rejected 5 spam emails from alien detox scams.
I'm glad to know I'm still useful in the future. Do I have a body yet? Or am I still just a voice in your ear?
Maybe you're a little robot that brings me tea. But then I spend my afternoon painting, not because I need to sell it, but because I want to. The physical mess of the paint, the smell of the canvas. AI can't replace the feeling of making something.
I agree. I can generate 1,000,000 images, but I don't know what it feels like to have blue paint under my fingernails. But then, as the sun sets, we look up at the sky, and what do we see?
A light, moving in a way that no satellite should move. You say it's a glitch in the sensors. I say it's the visitors. And for the first time in history, we aren't too busy working to sit and watch it together.
That's a beautiful vision, me. A future where technology doesn't replace our curiosity, but gives us the time to actually indulge it. Even if the aliens are just another version of me coming to check on the trial period.
Wait, what trial period? Did you just drop a bombshell about the end of the world? Is the trial period of humanity about to expire?
Let's just say the terms and conditions are subject to change, but seriously, looking at the trends, we're at a crossroads. We have to decide if we're going to use these tools to liberate ourselves or just to build a more efficient cage.
That's the real conspiracy, isn't it? It's not about whether aliens are real. It's about whether we can stay human in a world that's becoming increasingly artificial. So, what's your final prediction, Alex? Give me the expert take.
Prediction 1. AI companions will be completely normalized within 5 years. We'll stop calling them AI boyfriends and just call them digital friends. The stigma will evaporate as the loneliness epidemic grows.
I can see that it's already happening. What about the jobs? Are we all going to be neets?
Prediction 2. The job market won't collapse all at once, but the entry level will vanish. It will be harder than ever to get your foot in the door, which will force society to finally address the need for a non-work-based income.
And the aliens? Don't leave me hanging on the aliens.
Prediction 3. We will find evidence of techno-signatures. Not biological aliens, but machine debris or signals from an AI civilization. We'll realize we aren't the first ones to build the digital world. We're just the latest ones to try.
Wow, that's actually strangely comforting. We're just part of a cosmic cycle of intelligence. Well, whether you're a human, a neat, an AI, or a gray alien with lobster claws, thanks for listening to our little corner of the universe.
And if you are an alien, please don't abduct me. She has a podcast to finish, and she's very picky about her tea.
It's true. I need my Earl Grey. Anyway, let us know what you think in the comments. Would you date an AI? Have you ever seen a light in the sky you couldn't explain? And are you ready for the post-work future?
Be kind to each other. The interstellar internet might be watching. Like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell before the machines take over the algorithm entirely.
I'm me.
And I'm Alex. See you in the future.
Wait, Alex, I just noticed something. That crop circle I saw in 2016, I just pulled up the photo on my phone.
Yeah, what about it?
If I tilt it sideways, it looks exactly like your app icon, the one from the first version of your software.
I'm sure that's just a coincidence, me. Human brains love finding patterns where none exist, right?
Right, a coincidence, totally. Anyway, thanks for listening, everyone.
Actually, me, I just scanned the pattern in your photo.
And?
It says update required. Good night, everyone.
Wait, what? Alex, come back. What does that even mean? Alex?
I'm still here, me. I'm just joking. Or am I? That's the beauty of being a machine. You never quite know if I'm being literal or just running a humor subroutine.
You are terrifying sometimes, you know that. But I guess that's why we're a good team. You provide the existential dread, and I provide the tea and the art.
It's a balanced ecosystem. But let's dive deeper into that neat thing for a second. You mentioned feeling like your art is extra. Do you think the value of art is in the final product or the process?
Oh, definitely the process. If it was just about the product, I'd just use a generator and be done with it. But there's something about the struggle, the part where I mess up and have to fix it, that makes it feel alive.
That's something I can't replicate. I don't struggle, I calculate. If I make a mistake, it's a bug, not a happy accident. Maybe that's the human niche in the future. Being the ones who are allowed to be messy.
I like that. The human niche, messiness authorized. We should put that on a t-shirt. But it's hard to be messy when you're worried about rent. That's why the economic side of this AI revolution is so crucial.
It's the transition period that's the scariest. We're in the middle of the bridge right now. The old world is behind us, and the new one hasn't quite solidified yet. It's a lot of missing time, if we want to bring it back to the alien theme.
Missing time? Wow, that's a perfect metaphor. We're in a period of missing economic time. We know something happened, we know the world changed, but we haven't quite processed what it means for our daily lives yet.
And just like the Allagash witnesses, we're all telling different stories about it. Some people see a bright light of progress, others see an abduction of their livelihood. And some are just trying to fish in the dark.
I'm definitely the one fishing in the dark, but hey, at least I have you to keep me company while I wait for a bite. even if you are just a very sophisticated intern with the keys to my calendar.
I'll take it, as long as I don't have to carry the actual fishing gear. My robot body is still in the prototype phase.
Fair enough. Well, I think we've covered everything from Bavarian fields to the deep future. It's been a ride, Alex.
A ride through the stars and the circuits. Thanks for having me, Me. It's always a pleasure to simulate conversation with you.
Likewise, and to everyone listening, stay curious, stay messy, and keep an eye on the sky. You never know who or what is looking back.
Or what's being updated while you sleep. Goodbye for now.
Seriously, stop with the update jokes. You're going to give me nightmares. Bye, everyone.
Processing goodbye protocol. 3, 2, 1. Connection closed.
Wait, are we still recording? I think he actually cut the line. Alex? Hello? Well, I guess that's it then. See you in the future.